Hello, YouTube. So, there's changes coming to Multi-Crew and Elite Dangerous that they announced after the announcement of the hotfix patch coming in May. And lo and behold, number one, payout increases. And this will be via a server-side update probably next week. They said in the next few working days. It's after midnight, so yeah, I doubt it's going to come today on Friday, so it'll probably come sometime the week after. And there are going to be people in the comments section who'll be like, "Heard there. You complain and bitched and whine, you little crybaby, and aren't you happy you're getting what you got, what you wanted?" No, because this isn't a victory, okay? A victory, getting what we wanted, would have been a beta 6 in which this payout scheme was tested then instead of on a live update. If you go back to my beta 5 multi-crew as DOA video, one of the things that I remarked in there, I'm like, what is the logic here? The only thing I could think of is they're taking a page out of the Donald J. Trump Art of the Deal negotiating handbook, where they offer up initially a deal that is so horribly bad that when they go back and offer something that is slightly less bad, that everybody then praises them for being so flexible and listening to their consumer base. I saw a number of people on Reddit today saying, well, see, they do listen to you. I'm sitting here going, like hell they do. If they listened to us, there would have been a beta 6 where we actually tested this before it get pushed to live, instead of being tested after the fact or put in after the fact once it's already been in a live server. So yeah, this isn't them listening, okay? And I have some reasons why I think that is, and I'll circle back on that later on in the video. So that would have been the victory, that this would have been tested in a beta 6 or a beta 7 before even pushed to live. And lo and behold, it is now Elite getting 80%. And look, personally, when they first announced that the crew, multi-crew members would get 100% of bounty vouchers and combat vouchers, I was all for it. Personally, I'm still 100% for that. That would be the method that I would prefer to see. Now, since then, people have made arguments, and I think they are very valid arguments, and I can see their point that then what is the incentive to wing up, especially if it's going to take you 20 or 30 minutes worth of travel time to get to where you need to go and group up together and then start your activity. And also the fact that even if you are elite, you are not running the risk of a rebuy, where you would be running the risk of a rebuy in a wing situation. And I think both of those are fair criticisms. Now, where we're going to probably have a little bit of disagreement is where these percentages should fall. 80% for elite, I think, is probably the number that I even threw out. I think is perfectly acceptable for that risk-reward balance. I still think that Harmless should start out at 25%, which it kind of does based on home rank. I would have preferred to have just seen a flat 25% and then 30%, 35%, so on and so forth. I'm not exactly sure where the numbers there would work out, but, again, I would have loved to have seen a couple of betas where maybe we tested some values a little bit higher than this, and then maybe we tested some values that were a little bit lower than this. Some people had suggested a cap where Harmless could earn a maximum of like 15,000 credits per kill, and then Mostly Harmless could get 25,000 credits per kill, and so on and so forth, up and scale it up that way. There were some different options there that I would have said, you know what, that's worthy of trying out. Let's see how that worked out. And I wish this would have been done in beta. I wish that this would have been listened to in beta, and I don't think it was. The second thing is a rebuy cost reduction, server-side update also that will be taking place probably when the other payout increase happens. This will be increasing the rebuy cost reduction from 25% to 30% per crew member, giving you a maximum of 60% off. To give you an idea, on my cutter, that means my rebuy would go from 22 million with a full crew to around 19 million, 20 million with a full crew, somewhere along those lines. So I'll take it. I don't know if this really solved a problem that existed. I guess there was some feedback. I personally have not really heard that the rebuy cost reduction wasn't enough. But okay, 60% is better, and an additional 10% off is better than not, so I'll take it. The third and final major thing is a helm safety measures will be added in a 2.3.1 update. Now, it's important to note this is not 2.3.01, which is the hotfix patch that will be coming in May. This will be coming sometime after that, probably June. Maybe later May, but that would be the earliest. I suspect that this will be one of those patches that gets pushed into a short beta period before it actually makes it to live, or at least I hope that it is one of those type of patches. Maybe they'll go back and revisit shield cell banks or shield boosters. I'll get the right term here in a minute. It is after midnight. And armor values and things like that, and look at it from a slightly different perspective again. And I will use this kind of as a segue to circle back on what I was saying about the fact that I believe the way that they're collecting their information is done in such a way that it ignores valid feedback from a significant section of the player base that is ignored right now, because how they took and collected data for the shield banks or the shield boosters was via forum posts. And I think that whenever they're going back and looking at forum or at beta feedback, the priorities are forum, then maybe Reddit, and I don't know if they actually look at anything else expressly beyond that. I doubt that they're paying attention to my YouTube channel, for instance. But it's one of those things that this is flawed, because there are a significant number of these people who probably understand these mechanics at least as well as the designers, if not in some cases I think better than the designers themselves, that their feedback is effectively ignored because they're banned from the forums for whatever reasons. In some cases, they're also banned from the subreddit. So those opinions aren't reflected in the data that they're getting. And again, if you have garbage coming in, you got garbage coming out. Look at the polling data and stuff that was coming in the day of the presidential elections here in the U.S. back last year. And the end result, bad data equals bad results, depending on who you ask, I guess, in that case. I know I triggered some people when I said that they were pulling a page out of the Art of the Deal by Donald J. Trump in terms of their negotiating tactics here with the player base. Whatever. At any rate, how they could rectify this is pretty simple, and that's to go to a third-party polling utility or market survey utility like SurveyMonkey. I know there are UK and EU privacy laws concerns, so you need to use a service that conforms with those data privacy laws, probably based out of the UK or the EU, in order to collect the data. But there are these surveys companies out there. And the cost to do a survey like this in the grand schemes of a multi-million-dollar a year operation is negligible at this point in time. So I would think that that would be the best way to do it. You could also then collect the information anonymously, because whenever you had to post it on the forums, you had to do so under your user handle, and of course, it would just go into more debate other than just showing that information. And I think if they want to really try to capture useful data, they need to do it anonymously. I know that that's ripe for abuse online as well, going to coffee shops, offering multiple of the same opinions and things of that nature. So yes, it can be gamed, but I think that that would give you far more accurate results than what they're currently using to collect the data. Again, the way that the methodology that they're using now is going to be heavily skewed toward the people who are forumites, that are on their forums a lot. I am certainly not one of those people. I know I've not been banned or anything from their forum, so I couldn't get on. In fact, I did participate in the feedback for the shield boosters. I thought personally that they were in the ballpark. Now, whether the shield nerf needed to be 175% of capacity versus 150%, I think that there could have been an argument one way or the other, and it would have been nice to have been able to test a few more values one way or the other. Same thing with armor values. But I thought that they were moving in the right direction with that, personally. And I think that this is something that they need to look out to collect that information later on. As far as that goes, I guess you could use a Google Docs form to then put that information into a spreadsheet and collect the data somewhat anonymously that way. And if you put it into a spreadsheet, then you could put it into a database. You could always run people's names past whatever their user login is on the Elite Dangerous store or forums. Although I know, You also then you have Xbox players as well as Steam users and stuff like that. Uh, so maybe there's a service out there that would allow people to sign in under their Xbox username or their Steam username to show that they can only vote once and that they have to have the game in their library. I don't know if such services and stuff out there exist. Wouldn't surprise me if they did. But that's something that they should look at whenever they need to collect customer and consumer feedback through future betas and releases. Because I think that one of the reasons that some of the decisions and things that they're making is they're just not getting a clear enough picture of the data of the information and customer feedback. So that's basically all that I have to say for now. I'm going to go to bed. Until next time, take care.